victory. They need to be able to win the laning phase, I think.
Okay, well, we do have a Game 1 draft loading in here, folks. This is upper bracket. Winner bracket finals, in fact, winner of this series. Moving on to the grand finals. We've got a full house here with the crowd. They're getting hyped up, getting these teams ready to rock and roll.
You guys are the best.
You demand.
Yeah!
And that's the problem.
Yeah! Now that's pod racing!
10 seconds.
So one of the interesting aspects about these two teams is they have two of the highest hero variants coming into this tournament. Both of them play very diverse hero pools. Even, again, to reference the Pugna from Slardar that we, from Sylar. That we saw the other day, but this is already much different bands. Bounty Hunter, first band.
Yeah, these two are going to be in the minds of each other.
All right, I mean, they've scrimmed against each other probably a lot if they know each other the most.
It's regional Dota. Regional Dota is a lot different than international Dota. We've seen that even in NA, you know, Complexity can beat EG. If anyone can beat Wings, the top team, it's EHOME.
Wow, look at that too.
It's
The Spirit Breaker as well.
Oh ho!
Well, we have seen a fair bit of Spirit Breaker when it comes to these teams.
You were talking about Garter's roaming heroes cap, sorry.
Yeah, the key.
Genius cap.
And that means
Thank
no
you.
offlaners removed as well, right? Like those big 1v1 matchups when it comes to, like, especially the Bat Rider, of course, is the biggest one there. Still in the pool, EHOME take the Warlock first.
Who would have thought a librarian would be so popular?
Who? Well, that's not a librarian.
Yes,
Sure,
he
he
No,
is.
he's not.
He was the drafter of the Necronomicon.
I would not challenge
What
Slacks
the-
on more
I will
knowledge.
challenge him.
Bring it!
What library was he in?
He was a college professor in one of the grand libraries.
What college?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Exactly or wrong. Warlock is actually a demonic summoner
No,
from the world Azure.
Azure.
Yes.
He actually, from the Library of Karglar, researched the highest of the grimoire.
Witch Doctor Pay.
Hey, oh my God, Witch
Sure
Doctor!
is.
What a great hero!
So that was the Witch Doctor Invoker opening we had earlier in the...
Against NP. Yeah, that was the game one against NP that Wings won pretty handily. Exactly along similar line here. And Nyx Assassin now for EHOME.
Bat Rider ignored. Yeah, guess they just don't want to play against each other. Nick's picked up now. Wings probably way more hesitant to take it.
So what makes Witch Doctor so good against Warlock? The cast on the Golem and just the sustain of the sustain from Voodoo Restoration
I think
against
similar
Single
laning options as well.
Yeah.
How Witch Doctor is very strong in either that dual off lane, dual
Yeah, that's
safe
a good
lane.
point.
Positioning wise too, Witch Doctor can actually outposition Warlock, which is big. I mean, you want to get a good people, good rock, but Witch Doctor, that coconut could just mess up everything.
Yeah.
Or the ward, you don't have to move when you're casting ward, like, good.
Honestly, his right click isn't too bad either. You know,
Yeah,
he's got a
pretty
nice
solid.
base damage, and he can hit that with a nice range attack animation.
So who would win, Warlock versus Witch Doctor, 1v1 just right clicking straight away?
That is a great question. Well, let me go
Warlock.
ahead and, yeah, it's going to be Warlock, absolutely.
Voodoo Restoration level 1, I think you win.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That beats Shadow
Were
Word
we not
level 1.
skillless?
The
I thought we
damage-
were skillless.
We were
here.
skillless.
These
Oh,
are just
we were
straight right
skillless.
Well, I
clicks.
know all you guys are skillless.
The
That's why you've
massive
never played
damage
Pro
from
Dota.
healing ward would still outperform the Warlock heal.
Ooh.
Faith Beyond played the...
That offlane puck
That
in the
offlane
Drow
puck, yeah.
strat, right?
Yes, that's what it was, the Drow strat.
I'd say he's a pretty good player.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, he's okay.
Yeah.
God tier Slardar for sure.
Yeah.
Single-handedly winning several games, I would say, for Wings, honestly. Like, He just takes control of that mid game, grabs that hero. I mean, he is still in there. They have the physical damage there for the Witch Doctor too. Perhaps we'll see it.
Wow.
All very...
Wings decides to ban out the Bat Rider.
Yeah, I think because
Sensible
EHOME plays that 4 position Nyx
Oh, okay.
oftentimes, so don't want to give him Bat Rider. That's a lot of initiation, a lot of vision, Nyx and Bat Rider.
Ursa, nice safe band here, and we've also seen that Weaver be quite successful in the hands of Shadow.
5 seconds remaining.
Now, this is a little different than what we're used to here in the North American Dota. Do you think we'll see any of the snakes? The snake? Yeah, a Viper, Venol, a Medusa?
I don't think Viper's a good hero.
Okay, that's a little harsh. I didn't ask for that.
He had
We're
2
just trying-
steroid givers in the last time. It didn't work
And
out.
it still didn't work. Yeah.
You didn't have to tear the little guy down, but alright.
I mean, for real though, Slacks, if Viper can't win with Bloodlust and Drow Aura, when's he ever?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree, but I wouldn't say it to his face. I mean, the guy's got feeling.
Well,
I
I didn't know
did.
Well,
Snakes
good
had
thing he's
feelings.
not here,
Yeah.
because he hasn't showed up at the draft, has he?
Oh, that's good.
Zing. EHOME, thinking about this 4th ban for quite a while, delving now into the reserve time.
Considering the Morphling, perhaps. Just
Yeah.
wondering like how much pressure they can put on the Sylar Morph, or even the Pugna too. I do think it is worthy just considering getting rid of that, because the way they played it, it's not just that early game push, but instead it'll be that off-lane clockwork.
And they've got really good heroes to work with. Last time, they had Bounty Hunter, to go with the Pugna, and that was really important because of vision game, so he could always have that really long life drain. But I think Warlock is a really good space creator with the upheaval to allow Pugna space to be able to do that. But I don't think you pick Pugna against Lifestealer.
Probably not. Definitely one of the better cores to deal with it.
So what? Slardar is still left in the pool. Wings could actually get a Slardar Lifestealer combination with a mid-Timber Saw. That's pretty scary. They're dire side. They take control of Roshan really early. They don't have like this amazing high ground necessarily, but they could just get way far ahead in mid game and net worth.
Shadow Fiend.
Good call, Grant. You're good ears.
Yes.
Yes.
That's interesting. Third pick, Shadow Fiend. Obviously struggles against roaming heroes, but with just a Witch Doctor. I mean, a Witch Doctor stun's actually decent versus Shadow Fiend, but...
Why did they pick the SF so early here?
That's what I was
It matches up really well against Lifestealer, right? Any of those glass cannon, high physical damage heroes have traditionally been good versus Lifestealer. His biggest concern is that the off-lane initiator is the scary part for SF.
It's how they get onto SF.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but he does have some space creators in Nyx Assassin and Warlock already. And I think they know I think it's Timbersaw mid, right? And SF should do really well in that matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't have to worry about, like, the Feast pretty much useless against Shadow Fiend, which is kind of nice. I mean, that's a pretty large part of the overall damage from your Lifestealer there, so... Exactly the most massive HP pool in those glass cannons.
So if EHOME, like, shore up their safe lane against that offlaner, that's the biggest problem, right? Prevent that initiation. This could be a really good SF game.
It still feels so risky to go for that Slardar here, too, despite being one of Faithion's best heroes. Because just Warlock, even with the support Nyx too, like what are you going to do? There's still Ogre in the pool as well. They want to just throw this into like an off-lane Nyx and just have someone who can trade just as well with someone like that Slardar.
Feels like Slardar has been a little underwhelming this tournament. I'm thinking of like that NP game earlier where MSS was off to a really good start and then it sort of fell off again after that. He's one of those heroes. He does good with farm, but he's not going to win a game with farm. He needs to make space after he gets farm. Whoa!
Wow, that's only our second
this is
one,
the
right?
second Earthshaker pick. I believe
it was maybe next time.
Fifth pick.
Oh, instant Darkseer.
Yeah, no hesitation.
Gonna leave Sylar's hero open for the last pick then here for EHOME.
There's some good team fights set up now for EHOME, Vacuum, Wall, Chaotic Offering. I think they need a good reliable stun to set up for this Nyx though. That's the one thing they're missing.
You don't think Earthshaker's not a good stun?
No, for EHOME.
It's the Nyx Assassin.
For Nyx Assassin set up.
Oh.
God, they need to change that. That gets me every time. I never know if someone's talking about Nyax, Nyx, or
Earthshaker.
Earthshaker. I mean, they got it right there.
Yeah, nothing confuses me like Earthshaker and Nyx slacks.
Nyax.
I definitely really like the Vacuum this game though. Like Vacuum with the Warlock ulti, even with just a Fatal Bonds too, with the Impale there from the Nyx Assassin. A lot better than just a bunch of silences, because it's a lot harder for someone like that Darkseer to control up everybody without the hard lockdown that comes down after.
The man of the hour.
So is it because of the Vacuum that you would ban something like Sven over Slark?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a consideration.
You want to make sure they don't have anything
Although for
that
Sylar,
combos with it well.
maybe just those signature heroes, maybe it is enough already.
5 seconds remaining.
Luna, the Luna.
EHOME's turn to
I think Sven is very solid. I mean, it is the Lifestealer too.
Yeah.
They take.
Oh,
Wings
Carry Slardar.
Safe lane
Long
Slardar,
forgotten,
yeah, they
rarely remembered, but I think it'll work good here. It's good initiation. I mean, it destroys Earthshaker, Witch Doctor, supports Timbersaw. The Minotaur always having vision of him, being able to move around. You have Nyx already to counter Timbersaw.
10
It's
seconds
feeling a
remaining.
lot like Alliance's old dress when Loda used to play Slardar.
Absolutely.
It does look like that game that they faltered in though, where it's something they have to rely on that super early, like we gotta win our lanes, we gotta go, we gotta push, we gotta take high ground, and we can't mess up on that high ground push. They look good in the later parts of the game, sieging high ground, when we had this Alchemist and this Pugna and all that other nonsense. But in terms of the straight rush, that is when they suffered. So maybe feeling pressure to try that against Wings.
I'm not sure that this Darkseer pick is going to work out for EHOME here. Like, they do have some combination with it, but I feel like Darkseer and SF are two relatively slower heroes. I think Wings are going to be able to take control of the game because of that, and in which case they're just left with the Slardar is really the big space creator, right? Like, they have Nyx Assassin as a support, but I don't think that's very reliable.
Yeah.
So I could really see this Lifestealer combined with what is it now? The
Timbersaw.
he doesn't have an
Invoker.
initiator now.
Yeah,
he's
weird.
got
It's Faith
off-lane
Beyond.
Timbersaw.
Yeah.
Faith Beyond actually picked up.
It's going to be
Invoker, but
Earthshaker
we'll
once he
see.
does,
Yeah,
but
we'll
it's,
see if they
it's
swap.
interesting.
So we need some predictions. Cap, what are you thinking here? Who's taking game one?
I'll go with
10
Wings.
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
Not just because of the team like ranking, I still think the Wings draft is just better.
You guys were
5
completely
seconds
off.
remaining.
in everything you said. It's going to be EHOME. There's going to easily take a Shadow Fiend third pick. That's cocky. That's clever.
All right, I'm gonna go with Wings. I'm with you, Grant.
Yeah.
Slardar, forgotten but never
Remember.
remembered. All right,
Toulouse!
Well, let's see what our casters think about this game. EHOME versus Wings, game 1. We've got Mott and Purge.
Thanks so much, Andrew. And of course, we will jump into this upper bracket final. It is going to be a best-of-3 series determining who makes it to the grand finals here for the Northern Arena Beat Invitational. As we jump into the game, my name is Mott. With me is Purge. Purge, we actually start off with a Faith Beyond Invoker coming out right now.
Yeah, it's a little interesting that that's the offlane player. He's going to be playing Invoker, but I think the reason they're doing this is because they didn't want to lane a Darkseer with their support Earthshaker. It meant that the Witch Doctor would have to stay in lane so often that they'd rather just give him a 1v1 matchup versus Invoker.
We're going to see some action potentially. The Fisher will connect. They will find Lottom. They're going to use the cast as well. Shadow, open wounds. The slow is there. He's got the Shadow Word. Might heal him up a little bit, but here comes the Cold Snap. They're throwing all of these abilities. What an impale onto 3. EHOME. They save their Shadow. They save, of course, the Warlock coming out. They have Silo ready to go, but the rest of them, they're not going to counter-initiate. That was something else. Nice impale coming up from Garter.
It cost them a lot, too, in terms of skill builds. Wings is forced to go for Quas level 1 on Invoker. I'm sure they prefer to have Exhort there if he is laning. He may actually be mid. Maybe they're going to put Faith Beyond mid lane and Timber safe, but they're going to fight for the bounty.
Yeah, here we go again. The Cold Snap going, but not connecting, not doing any damage. The stun is now gone. Here's the cast, though. Impale again onto 2. The Fisher stops any further damage. Styler walks up. He somehow gets the bounty, even with that Fisher blocking the way. It is going to be EHOME grabbing both runes here to start things off, Purge.
Really good start for them. So Darkseer off to the off lane. Just going to Iron Shell some creeps, and it looks like Timber will slowly make his way to the top lane. So a great start for Darkseer, especially if he can push this lane really rapidly and get some creeps dead under tower.
Yeah, he should have a good time up in that top lane for the time being. You do have Lottom coming in, throwing up the Shadow Word on himself just so he can right-click Faith Beyond. And like you said, it's Quas coming up for this Invoker. He's not got that Exhort for the extra damage, and actually might give the Shadow Fiend a better start here.
Yeah, he won't be able to trade as well with the Warlock either. Not a great thing for him. But the aggro tri-lane should look pretty good for Wings here. This is what they felt like they had to do. It's a pretty good tri-lane. It's a little scary to do Lifestealer with a Witch Doctor, and the Earthshaker Fissure obviously causing some issues, but I think it's smart for them to do this aggressive thing, because if they delay Old Chicken's start and make him a little bit less effective in the beginning of the game, he won't combo as well with Darkseer in the mid game, which could put a lot of pressure on Wings.
Now, we haven't seen too much of that safe lane Slardar as they were talking about during the panel in the draft. What do you think about itemization? It used to be maybe that armlet coming out before. We do see Blink Daggers obviously very common, but...
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I'm not sure if that's something real for Ice Ice in trouble, actually.
They're going to try to go on him. The open wounds to turn for Shadow, but now Ice Ice, he gets the Fisher, does stun out the Nyx Assassin. Might have the Impale ready to go for Garter.
Pretty fast.
Old Chicken has the Slithering Crush ready, I would imagine. He does. Impale will go, and they will set up for Old Chicken to come out with the Slithering Crush. They'll find it, and with a couple more right clicks, Old Chicken will get first blood down to the safe lane for EHOME.
Yeah, that was the best he could do, honestly. He wasn't going to be able to walk past the Slardar on the way back to base. Maybe he runs left instead, but yeah, just unfortunate death for him and a first blood going EHOME.
Yeah, just already this aggro tri-lane not really getting much done for Wings. They are getting a lot of farm for the Lifestealer. Old Chicken has the wave coming under the tower.
It just cost Wings so much that they didn't get the first blood. They put a smoke into that. They thought they would get it for sure, but a great Nyx stun canceled that in the beginning of the game. They needed that advantage to get a fast boots on Lifestealer, something like that, to give them more lane pressure. And at every turn, well, in this case, Witch Doctor actually did get the DD.
Yeah, he's going to go with the Cask on the Garter. No, won't go to the creeps. There's the Fisher. He has a lot of damage. Look at the right click with that double damage rune from Innocence. Oh my, the Maledict is going to take him down. They want to give it to the Earthshaker perhaps, but no, it will be the Witch Doctor picking up that last hit.
Amazing DD pickup. Any other rune, and I don't think that would have been the same, but... Well done by the Witch Doctor, and Earthshaker coming as well. The Fissure range has really shown a big advantage. Even though it doesn't stun for very long, just adding that extra step can give your ranger like Witch Doctor extra advantage. Great stun rotation if this bounces well.
Quas Wex, and it will. The cast will bounce once. They have the damage. One more right click, yes. With the double damage still there at the tail end for Innocence, they're able to secure the kill. That double damage rune really got them some mileage for Wings.
It really did. 2 kills. It's amazing here. Timbersaw getting kind of low.
Vacuum, the Iron Shell. Blink's in trouble. Timber Chain, he might make it away. No surge from Old 11. He's going to surge himself instead back towards the lane. And it was very close. Blink is so low in HP as well. Old 11 even salving up afterwards.
Yeah, saving his magic wand sticks was all he needed there to stay alive, but it definitely was a bit close. Was hoping to get the Darkseer to go more aggressive, to get deeper before he ended up escaping. But
he's in trouble again. He's no regen. He only has 2 stick charges. This time he will Timber Chain, but the Surge does come through. One more auto attack, and Old 11 finds himself a solo kill in this top lane, already with some great CS on top of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty huge mistake. I think the problem was that the Darkseer just kept him away from creep so long that even with 2 points in reactive armor, he didn't let him stack up the HP regen and the armor that would have possibly offset some of the Iron Shell damage.
I think this is a fairly good start. Besides those 2 kills coming out with the double damage for Witch Doctor, I think EHOME are doing rather well for themselves.
Yeah.
But here comes that gank again. There's that Observer Ward, and Fisher on the wrong side still. They're going for it. EMP cast coming through the Maledict on top. The Tornado. Enchant Totem not timed correctly, but he should still fall. Battling through, but he cannot get out in time as the Earthshaker will secure that kill.
Man, Fissure actually makes things so easy. It really is incredible for that. They didn't really react at the right time. The smoke was broken. SF had the best chance, but he still got blown up.
Yeah. This is already 2 ganks on the Shadow Fiend. 19 last hits, but getting down a little bit in terms of experience perhaps. And like you said, the Fissure coming out very strong for Wings.
Oh, 2 points in Maledict here for Witch Doctor, trying to get a lot of stuff done. I actually like that skill build this game because he's with an Earthshaker. It's got great disable, but not as much damage as the typical support would be providing you with right clicks. So with 2 Maledicts, it's already a pretty decent nuke the way it is, and extra damage on top of that will solidify you a lot of kills.
He's waiting for this haste rune right now. Might be saving it for the mid laner, but he could also just take it himself. I mean, we saw what he did with the double damage with the haste rune. Could also find some action. He will pop it. Nyx Assassin is going to rotate mid to help out the Shadow Fiend if there's going to be that initiation again.
See if he gets a lucky bounce here.
There is that Radiant Observer Ward. They will see Innocence right now, but the Tornado EMP, it looks like Slark might knock it back in time. A great impale from Garter. There's going to be the Maledict. The cast will come through. Will it bounce? No, but I think he still might be able to get the kill. The Race comes out. They wanted Innocence. He's too speedy. They can't bring him down, even with Garter there and the impale to try to save Sylar. He falls yet again for the 3rd time.
So something I just noticed now, it's actually Quas Wex. We saw Tornado earlier, but clearly a Quas Wex build, so going for possibly Midas. Some Invokers have been focusing on getting that item so that they have the better late or mid game at least. Oh, killed possibly an old chicken here.
With another Fissure block comes out, so the Ring Crush will go. The Rage was down. No more mana for Shadow. They won't secure this one, not yet anyway. An old chicken will make it out.
But the Quas Wex is helping massively in the mid lane because it does give him more damage impact and some disable. This is really bad for Blink here.
Yeah, Old 11.
He's got a 6 stick.
He does use the Mango as well, and it looks like maybe Old 11 was maybe a little too low for that kill. Old chicken down bottom. Shadow Fissure goes, but it's not onto the Slaughter. Instead, it was onto Lanham. Cass will go through the Shadow Ward, helping him out, healing him back up, and that will be the end of the exchange for Winged, I think.
It's a little scary there, but Wings is doing quite well in this offlane. 29 last hits here for Lifestealer. At 6 minutes, that's pretty close to a mid lane position. So Shadow's having a great game. Seems like Timber is getting pressured a lot, though. I don't think he's doing as well on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, that Darkseer's having a heck of a time. No creep cutting, obviously. The CS is advantage for Blink, but it's not by much. It's about 1 last hit. It's very even in this top lane. But again, Old 11 getting that solo kill to start things off earlier. Very important for EHOME.
And on the mid lane, like with Faith Beyond being this behind, often plays off lane, but now he's playing mid against a Shadow Fiend. That's kind of tough. So even with all these kills, his base damage is much lower than what SF's is. It's difficult to out-deny through things like Shadow Rays. So Faith is doing his best, but he's not matching him. So despite all these kills, it's looking okay for SF.
Yeah, I think Sylar, even with, like you said, with those 3 deaths, will be able to come back. He has the Rays. He can go to the creeps as well. Not something that the Invoker can do very well. But going back to the Quas Wex Invoker, is this going to signify early game-oriented team fight coming out for Wings? Do you think they'll push early on with the Lifestealer maybe getting the Armlet or something?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Things like Infest onto Timbersaw can be a huge deal. That's maybe what they would like to aim for. Timbersaw's last hits right now have just been incredible, though. Despite all this pressure, his last hits have been towards the top on the tri-lane. They're sticking through with it. I mean, Shadow's still down here, and it's definitely limiting what Slardar can do. He's got 20 more last hits than Slardar does in this lane. It's a big advantage.
Yeah, this is already, for that bottom lane, he's doing rather well. The Hooded Defiance comes out for the Timbersaw. It's usually...
He doesn't have boots yet, even.
It's a more common thing now for Timbersaw. We started seeing this more and more often. What do you think about the early Veil pickup?
It's pretty good. There's a lot of magic damage coming from EHOME, but there's also a lot of minus armor. That's going to be from Slardar's side, and at some point, SF will also do that. But right now, at the very beginning of the game, it's almost all magic, and it's mostly just going to help him resist laning against Iron Shells a lot better. So with plus armor from reactive and the hood on top of that, he can absolutely limit Darkseer's ability to farm waves.
Right now, Darkseer is still going. 46 last hits, just kind of a farming game. There's been a lot of action early, but 11, nice sidestep of that Tornado. Gets the Haste Rune as well. Takes it away from the Invoker. They've rotated Ice to the top lane. They've broken up this aggressive tri-lane. They sent the Witch Doctor down there to leech experience, but the Lifestealer isn't backed up into that top lane now for Wings.
Yeah, and I do like that they put Nyx top. Throw Nyx top, try to get him level 6, and then once he does hit 6, you can do a Darkseer gank with him, ideally with Iron Shell. It's a great opportunity, but I just am not so sure if I see Darkseer having a massive impact. Like, he has been solo this game, and he's gotten a lot of farm, but I Vacuum Wall against Wings' lineup, it's not super dangerous in my opinion. So maybe if he gets something like a fast pipe, he's really going to help limit what Wings can do for damage. But right now I think that the Timbersaw getting as much gold as he did was a better end of that trade.
Yeah. The Hood is up. He's farming bottom. They've rotated the lanes. Still trying to get some vision out for both teams at this point. Just trying to get farm as well. Sylar's starting to stack up some of these creep camps and use the raises to bring them down.
That wasn't terrible. He put a sentry there, so it's very likely EHOME tries to deward that one.
See what they decide to do here. There's no boots yet on this Warlock. He's not had the best time. 8 last hits.
He's fine. Warlock's actually a hero that doesn't need that many items, just due to his high base strength, so he can get by for now, at least until the team fights start.
He is almost level 6, but here comes the rotation from Wings. They haven't been seen yet in Old Bottom. Looks like he is going to get caught. He has the raindrop, but I don't think that's going to save his life. It's too much damage. Great cold snap to cast. It's more than enough damage to bring down.
He could have used boots there, I think. That would have been nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have mattered, but
probably not, but anything for him would have helped in that situation.
And a great ward behind tower there as they rotate through and get that kill back to their lanes. That'll help spot what supports are behind and lets Timbersaw know whether or not to back or not.
It looks like it is going to be the Blink Dagger, by the way, for the Slaughter. He's at 1900 gold, so it is going to be that early Blink pickup. No armlet or anything like that. They just want to get in and get as much done as possible for EHOME.
They got to start the fights. They have to leverage the high levels of Darkseer levels to get Slaughter into the fight, grab the initiation, do Iron Shell damage on top of that, and get kills and pressure on the lanes. If they don't do that, I mean, maybe the Nyx Assassin can do it, but that's going to force you to have to worry about sentry wards and things like that. I think Slaughter has a much better chance of jumping in and winning a fight.
No level 6 yet for Garter. By damage up, Blink does a lot of damage to Slaughter, pushes him back. Timbersaw having a heck of a time. Topping net worth for his team, he's actually trading it with the Nate pretty evenly.
There's a lot of big farmers this game, actually. About 6 heroes pretty close, clumped up. The lowest of them, actually, Slardar. Shadowfiend somehow second, but I guess that is all of the deaths he had in the laning stage.
Right.
He's catching up safely in the jungle. He doesn't have to worry too much about Wings' pressure. And Wings is just constantly rotating their lanes, attempting small ganks here and there, keeping EHOME on edge, basically, and then also continuing to grab a lot of last hits. I think this is important just because Lifestealer needs to get Armlet before he's really useful. Before Armlet, the hero has some misses, and he doesn't have nearly as much ability to just abuse Armlet toggling to stay alive no matter the cost.
Tornado EMP, lot him not again. He'll lose most of his mana. Should have his Shadow Word ready. The Cold Snap still doing some work. We'll see if he can survive. He has the stick charges, and he will make it out in time. Faith Beyond was going for that kill solo. There was no cast there to help him secure that one.
Yeah. Warlock, man. That was a full combo from a mid-hero, and he ended up staying alive. Maybe a couple mistakes in terms of Cold Snap procs, but pretty straightforward for him to do that.
Garter, Vendetta, Slithering Crush, there's that Blink Dagger. They want this Invoker to raise it up, and People is there as well. The Ghost Walk not in time. They will secure that kill. Sylar picking it up, Vendetta comes through. Not sure if they spotted the spike carapace, but Vendetta hit the impale. Not there in time. They can't set up. Sylar rotating in. It's
There's so many creeps.
The creeps are taking the tower. It's almost going down. Blink might just go into the tree line here and try to find something. It's only Sylar and Garter. Blink now getting pushed back after that raise comes through. You see another hero rotating. It's going to be the Slaughter ready to go with the Slithering Crush and his Blink Dagger. And since it's close by, the cast will come out. He does have his Death Ward ready to go. More heroes rotating in. Here comes Shadow. And on top of that, Earthshaker's not too far behind either. They will get to deny the tower. They will get out in time. It looks like no jump in from anybody on Wings' side.
Yeah, the fact that it took them that long to even get ready to pressure, I think EHOME played that correctly, and getting a deny and out is absolutely worth it, because in most cases where you do contest that, you lose at least 1 or 2 heroes, usually a fight. Very common for Radiant teams to lose fights by their tier 1, so they got the best out of that, I think. Killing the Invoker just before that, I think EHOME's in a good position here.
Wings as well are starting to invade EHOME's jungle. I want to put some pressure onto Sylar and the rest of this crew. This Lifestealer does not have his armlet yet. He does have the Helm of Iron Will, the Blades of Attack coming out.
He's pretty close then, so about 900 gold to go. And once he gets that, absolutely going to be more resistant against heroes like Slaughter. That's the big thing. Lifestealer's base armor is not that high, so once you pick up that item, at least if he gets initiated on, he's going to have a less hard time.
Still, it's going to be difficult as there's now the mech out for the Darkseer. They just got the level 6 as well for the Warlock, so all the abilities up for EHOME. They'll smoke them now. This is the perfect timing for them. They have the vacuum, they have the wall ready as well.
And they got the rock. That's the scary part.
The golem is going to be tough for Wings. They're not all together. They have Blink down bottom, a pretty easy target, and looks like that's who they're moving for. Garter, not going to spot him yet. Now it looks like he will. They've got the vision. Old Chicken's going to come in with a Slurry Crush. He'll find it. Amplified damage will come up as well. The Impale is out, and that's just too much. And will be a dead Timbersaw for 40 seconds.
Yeah, the Hood only does so much there with that much force fire. They easily get the kill. The minus armor helping out a lot, and that was the net worth leader on the Dire side, so a big kill. Can they turn this into another kill mid, though? They got the wards.
Together, the cold snap, yeah, they saw, they knew that he was coming in. They just back immediately.
They're going to know for sure there's observer wards there. Arguably a slight mistake, but if Slaughter would have gone in, that would have been amazing. Just the cold snap actually interrupted his blink, I think.
As you say, it Warlock instantly buys sentries. All right, time to de-ward it.
Goodbye.
They will
Poor little
mid.
Poor little Gem TD wards. Dead forever. Witch Doctor in a good position. He's got level 6, the ultimate he needs, really. If they can blow up the Slaughter whenever he initiates, I think that's the big aspect that Wings needs to look for in the fight. So putting a cask on him, sitting Earthshaker behind the person that's likely to be gone on, and as soon as they jump in, drop the Fissure to hit him and the back line, and that should allow them to put firepower down to kill the Slaughter that initiated.
What item do you go for Old Chicken then to maybe stay alive longer in these engagements? Do you go for the early BKB or still maybe think about the armlet?
That's a hard question. With BKB, you don't have to worry about the Earthshaker very much, and Earthshaker stuns are amazing, but then you're going to have issues not just dying to things like Lifestealer right-click after you initiate, so I think BKB kind of has to be the pickup, to be honest, because the Earthshaker stun combos are just way too dangerous. And if he ever gets in a situation where a cask is bouncing between him and another person, you just lose that fight every time.
Yeah.
So I think he does have to go BKB afterwards. Maybe pick up a Treads first, but past that, nothing else can deviate.
So like EHOME are going to group up with this forward down this bottom lane, take another tier 1 tower, at least attempt to. TPs are coming in from Wings. They're looking to maybe position themselves to fight this. The Chakram will come out. The power's getting lower and lower. Fissure, no deny, but they want Tyler instead. But the EMP, no follow-up Tornado. Jump into the recrush. They found the Earthshaker. Timbers hit a vacuum wall. Onto Ice Ice will go upheaval. No chaotic offering just yet. They might drop it soon. Tyler uses Requiem. There's a 1-for-1 exchange. They've already lost Old Chicken. He's out of the fight. There's the chaotic offering, but it's just to try to cover their retreat. Garter coming in. They immediately infested the siege creep. Garter was spotted, and now he's got to get out. But the open wounds, the Chakram will keep him in place. And Blake finds himself a double kill.
That was huge. Fight for Wings is stun. Not in time.
That cask is going to fly all the way.
It's so beautiful.
And it's gone for half a second. Don't worry, it'll come back. It'll come back.
Did you see those little...
there it is. Boom.
Get stunned.
I love this. They're so hyped here in Montreal. They're having a great time. Loudon's going to get hip up.
It's just an amazing fight there for Wings. The dive pass towards Earthshaker, I mean, they got that kill, the vacuum looked great, but they just didn't have a good follow-up afterwards, and we saw that problem that we just talked about. Slaughter initiates, he gets chain stunned, and eventually gets nuked up. So EHOME was not able to cover him. They're trying to do so with things like early levels of upheaval, but that's not enough to stop him from dying.
I think you're absolutely right about that BKB pickup for the Slaughter. You saw the cold snap coming out. There's so many disables. The Chakram slow, the Fissure. They will find Shadow now. He doesn't have investment 40. He does, however, have Rage. Open wounds. Old Chicken sprints away. Faceon here to help out, but here comes Garter. There's going to be the Impale. They will lose the Warlock for the time being here. Vacuum in, but no follow-up. Get the Arcane Boots off, and now they will have the casket. Bounces again. Garter as well as Old, and they've got to get out. They just don't have the damage to bring down this Lifestealer, even with those 3 heroes in the vicinity.
Yeah, they just had to get more value out of their skills. Either, ideally, the Nyx stun hitting 2 heroes, or vacuum into stun would be great.
Old Chicken going back in, Tornado locking him down. Sprint is up. Innocence is getting chased, but the EMP is going to cover the retreat. Old Chicken, Deathward can't blink up. Might have been going for the high ground, still has it in 1 second. Innocence is going to be tough. I don't know if you're going to go for this. Old Chicken can't decide what he wants to do. And now the Fissure hits the cold snap. He stayed too long. Slaughter just goes in too hard. He really wanted that kill. It's not worth it by a long shot, even if he gets it.
It looked so good. That juicy Witch Doctor, man. Sometimes you just want to go for those, but as soon as the Blink Dagger got interrupted, his chance was over, and a great Fissure, again changing the game.
Yep. Unfortunate for the Slaughter. Again, dying a couple of times in these last fights. He was doing so well in terms of net worth. You talked about how many hard farmers there are, like 6,000 net worth above, and the Slaughter is at 4,000. Fissure comes out, Chakram, gets the Tornado off as well, and that's going to be more than enough to bring Tyler down. The Requiem not in time. Blink's running low on mana and getting up healed up as well. He has enough for a Timber Cape, but there's just the refresh. Slaughter's back alive. Amp damage is up. Can they bring this man down? Shadow Word as well, taking him down with the Fatal Bonds on top of the Impale. They'll find the Life Stealer instead. He does have Rage, he does have Invest, and he goes right into a Radiant Creep. And EHOME will not find it. Good might. Fatal Bonds will come out. Oh, I don't know if that's the play. They could have waited.
Why wouldn't they just let that die?
I'm not sure. I guess they're just going to let him go. They thought maybe Wings could rotate back in and try to, I don't know.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, their one ward didn't spot the rest of Wings. They were definitely worried about them swinging around and taking the fight there. They're like, let's farm this creep with 5 heroes to make sure that he doesn't pop out and kill one of us, and then we'll leave. Playing it safe, I guess. I mean, they are losing some fights. Their first Warlock Golem fight went really poorly. They've got an S&Y now in Sylar, great item to help slow against the Lifestealer, but the item's not quite the same as it used to be. It only does a 16% slow when it actually does proc. So I'm not sold on this SF being able to affect this game in a good way. He's going to have to get BKB before he's ready.
I think they're looking towards more of a late game situation. At least that's the indication I get with the Midas coming out for the Darkseer. The Darkseer has picked up the Midas, so it looks like they're saying, okay, we can bring this to a later point in the game. We can get more items for our Darkseer at the very least. But they are going to run right into 3 heroes. The Impale only catches 1. They will get the Invoker with this 3-press golem. They still have that rage there. Here comes the Chakra. The golems are down. Can they get this Invoker? He's low. The EMP they drop to. Tornado stops any more further aggression, and Sylar has to back away from the Death Ward. 2 dead on the side of EHOME, and they are running for the hills. Lottom's going to try to TP out. Looks like he will make it away. No Basher available for Shadow, so he won't be able to stop that from getting out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about the Midas. EHOME knows that they're not winning these fights. They're supposed to be winning these fights with Warlock and Darkseer and Carry Slardar, but the aggro try got him behind where he's expecting to be. He still only has Blink Dagger. This is an offlane Slardar, as far as I'm considered. It's just very tough for EHOME to win these team fights. The Fissure is absolutely doing a lot, and just simple disables like Cask in the EMP Tornado, that's all they really need to win these fights.
They're doing a very good job for Wings, and the Slice Stealer stayed alive for seemingly forever. He's now got the Echo Saber. There is almost a Bloodstone. In fact, there is for Blink now at 19 minutes into this game.
They already have trouble killing that guy. And it's just going to get worse as he grabs armor items after armor items.
And that's with the Hood, too. It's not like he got that Bloodstone first item. He went for the Hood very early on in the game. So he's doing very well for himself now. Top of the net worth for his team. For the rating side, you do still have the Shadow Fiend, which we just talked about, and the Darkseer later on down the road. But we talked about the Shadow Fiend and his choice for an S&Y. You specified he might need a BKB later on down the road.
Yeah, and that's against Earthshaker, but even a BKB isn't good against Lifesteal. You won't be slowed, but is that really the solution you need? It's not. I think he needs just more and more stat items, but SF hasn't really been built as a right-clicker in a very, very long time. Yeah. I just don't know if he's going to be able to fulfill that role. He's at least farming faster than everybody else.
Yeah,
that's a big advantage.
And that'll happen with your Shadow Raises, but he's barely staying afloat in terms of these other dire heroes. There are a couple more fights for Wings, and all of a sudden they'll take over the top net worth spots. They almost did catch a hero or two on the EHOME side as they enter the jungle. The Ghost walked up Faith Beyond, Sentry's placed down. They'll drop the ward, might have spot guarded. Looks like it does. He will back away underneath the tier 2 tower in safety.
Yeah, they're hoping for an easy kill with the Invoker plus Snakes popping out, but didn't find anybody. He's on his way to finishing an Orchid after finishing Midas on the Invoker, so once he grabs that, gets even scarier for a lot of the EHOME heroes, namely Darkseer's got to be worried, Nyx Assassin's got to be worried, everybody on EHOME has to be worried until they get BKBs, and considering that their cores aren't even Manta builders, it gets even harder. They're completely reliant on BKBs or maybe some later Aether Lens or Lotus Orbs to get out of those silences.
And even the Lanham Warlock might be getting focused down here if he's not careful with the Orchid. You want to stop that Chaotic Offering from getting out, bring him down quickly. But that Chaotic Offering has not been that big of a game changer for EHOME.
Yeah, those first couple fights are really important, and EHOME did not get enough advantage there. And it all comes down to the aggro try that Wings ran. It denied Slardar getting an anticipated farm. He was hoping to grab like a 6, 7, 8 minute Blink Dagger while his supports zone the offlane. And then you turn that into like an offlane Darkseer gank on the Timbersaw, and then the gank on the mid, and then the gank on the offlane. If you do that enough times, it's a big advantage. They're going to try to get a kill now, though. They have to get one.
Smoke. Ward might have... The Ward did spot that Slardar as the smoke did break, and they backed out immediately for Wings.
I don't think it's all Garter, though. I think he still has smoke animation on himself, so they just saw the one. Maybe they can move to the enemy jungle. Sylar nuke in the mid-lit wave. We'll see if anybody on Wings noticed that one.
There are a couple of heroes around that area, including Faith Beyond. He's going to head to the mid lane underneath that tier 2 tower. He's not been spotted yet. Now will be. I should know that everybody from Wings is perhaps still in the Radiant Jungle. They'll show themselves, I think, down to the bottom tier 2 tower, and here we go. Garter looking for the initiation phase beyond. Pretty speedy, so the Ring Crush, the Impale, they've got the high ground vision. Finally, they get a big kill for EHOME to start things off here.
The downside, though, is that his Tornado pushed the wave, so now they can't instantly start hitting the tower. They've got to go back, push the wave to mid, and then start hitting the tier 2. So gives Wings a little bit more leverage on this bot lane than they were hoping to get.
Still something going for EHOME. A much-needed kill. The Invoker down for 35 seconds. He's not farming, and they're going to turn this, instead of the tier 2 tower mid, to Roshan, but the life stealer inside of the Ancient Black Dragon trying to stop this as much as possible. They have the amp damage up, so it's going to help out a lot in terms of taking this quickly. But the heroes are starting to position themselves for Wings to maybe fight this here. More fireballs drop down. Look at the damage it's doing. Meanwhile, Innocence is positioning himself beautifully for a cast, maybe for a death ward. Will he cross it? Yes, he will. Going for old chicken. The next will go. They'll keep the Slaughter alive for now, but they back everybody off. Here comes the Timbersaw. Blink is a little bit alone. Old Chicken does dodge that Timber Chain narrowly, and now Blink with the amplified damage taking a lot. The Southern Crest is available. They stun him coming up with the Spike Carapace. They will bring the Timber down. Do they fight any further? Sylar TPing out. Looks like he will make it away. The Fisher, no! Not in time. Now the Infest down. Sylar will fall. He just couldn't quite TP in time. It was going to be 0.10 seconds away from completion.
That was so greedy by him, though. All he had to do was just walk away and he would have lived, but with an Earthshaker in the game, you cannot mess around like that. It doesn't matter what you can see or how safe you are. The fissure threat is always there. On the bright side, he did buy out his BKB before he died, so he's got that going for him, but if he TP'd back to base and was just healing, they could probably maybe get to Roshan time to stop Wings from doing it, and now Wings has got it.
Yeah, they will take this Roshan almost certainly. EHOME, they cannot get in position to contest this, especially 4 versus 5. That will provide the Invoker his Orchid, a couple more items coming up from Wings on top.
He's going to get a Blink on Earthshaker as well. That's a crucial item that's going to turn him from a support hero to more like a 3-position teamfight impact. Really dangerous now for EHOME. If he gets the drop on EHOME, whole fight gets won instantly.
And more than that, Wings will also pick up the Desolator for the Lifestealer. There's some huge items for Wings right now. Yes, there's that BKB coming out for the Shadow Fiend, but it feels like he's really one of the few damage dealers on this EHOME side right now.
Yeah, one advantage that EHOME do have is that the Timbersaw can be dealt with. They're doing a lot of damage to him when he has Amp on him. He's got a Yule Scepter for himself, but he hasn't been able to pick up a Plate Mail yet. So at the least, EHOME can kill the Timber, one of the more farmed heroes, actually the most farmed hero in the game.
This is what I expected to see. The Slaughter picks up the Midas now. They know late game is probably their best bet here. So they're trying to transition. I mean, Old Chicken's not really getting farmed after that Blink Dagger. I mean, look at his net worth now. The Witch Doctor's almost ahead of him at this point, or at least close by.
That's really bad for the carry. And that's the problem with Slaughter. He's not a natural farmer. He didn't even go Quelling Blade this game, it doesn't look like. Jungling is never really an option either unless you get some kind of regen items, so he's quite behind. This will at least give him some levels to help compensate with his lower farm, but it's not looking good for his late game core potential. At least the Darkseer also has a Midas. We will see things like Shiva's and Hex earlier than usual.
Is it going to be enough? This is their last smoke for a period of time for EHOME, and they will move up aggressively looking for Faith Beyond, but you can see Wings is backing up very quickly.
They also smoke. I don't know if that was spotted or not. I don't think it was.
I don't think so. They're going to break it momentarily. Old Chicken EMP, but the cold snap beautifully caught for Faith Beyond. They get the Fisher off. Old Chicken is done, and this fight is over before it began for EHOME. Time to leave. TP comes down. Here comes the Death Ward. Can't totem. That newly minted Blink Dagger for Earthshaker finds them another. Can they get a third? Old Living would be a huge pickup. He does have Surge of 3, but in vacuum back, they need some sort of disable, and I'm sure they'll have it. As the cast comes through, they find a double kill for Shadow, and Wings. Quick timing with that Invoker and the cold snap onto the Slaughter.
Really nicely done there. I'm not going to be able to get the Fissure stun on the next Assassin, but the Slaughter initiation, he was a little hesitant, but really it was all about Faith Beyond's cold snap. It changed everything. And that's the kind of little windows that you have at the top level. These tiny fractions of seconds. If you throw the cold snap in time, the whole fight changes. If he's got BKB, completely different story. He'd be able to stun 2 heroes as he goes in, but he just doesn't have that same confidence level because he's behind.
Now it feels like Wings are starting to get out of control after that Roshan, after the last couple of team fights, which of course Wings have won. There's maybe been 1 or 2 picks that EHOME have gotten, like on that Invoker, but that's about it. Echo Slam, they'll find Garter, they will blow him away. Fisher comes out, the Timber Chain, secure the kill. So the Ring Crush, they will find the Earthshaker, but I'm not sure if it's the best fight. Old Chicken takes a ton of damage from Blake, and they're going to find more. The Yule Scepter is there, the Chakram is up, the Timber Chain, the cast bounce through as well. Sylar has to pop the BKB, but luckily avoids the Tornado with it, but Lana does get hit up. It is still 2 dead very quickly. It just feels like they can't fight for EHOME at all.
Yeah, this advantage from having an Earthshaker or the Blink Dagger just changes everything. It's the instant initiation. They guaranteed the Nyx kill, and that guarantees the tower. And they just lucked out on Slaughter being in the area as well. Great plays there by Wings, getting the kills they need and going high ground super early.
20 seconds for this slaughter before he respawns. Yule Scepter will find Shadow Fiend, no BKB, Chakram. Not there in time. Timber Chain comes out, yeah. Won't be able to connect just yet. The silence is still there, now gone. Here's the Tornado, on to 2. Any follow-up, the Impale will hit. Avoiding any further damage from this Timbersaw. I don't know if Wings want to go any further. In fact, they will get himself out for Blink, and looks like try to run after taking that tier 3 tower. Here's the vacuum, back on to 2. Wall's not there, base beyond. There's the ghost. Well, Timber Chain, Tyler already getting low. It's 3 out of 2, but they have no more damage followed. And here's the chaotic offering. Maybe this could do some work. Oldlove is going to fall first, and it sits. Will not go down to Old Ticket, not yet anyway. Base beyond's going to try to help him out, but not there in time. On the other side of the fight, Lanham getting chased down. Might be able to bring him down. They have so much damage between the light shield and Timbersaw. EMP, Cold Snap is there, but Timber Chain, that's what does the real damage. Double kill for Blink. Timbersaw, that is it. GG. Wings take control of the early game and proceed to push right on into 28 minutes.
Yeah, Siler, not too happy about that one, but an absolute dominant performance by Wings. They basically spiced it up with that last pick. They grab Invoker, EHOME saying whatever, Shadow Fiend versus Invoker, we're going to be able to do this, but it messed up all the other lanes that they were expecting to be against, like throwing Timbersaw versus Darkseer. He got pressured a lot, but he did more than enough. Is this a fake GG?
Oh, there's disconnect.
Okay,
all right.
Fake. Real GG. Real GG.
Lanham's still having a pretty good time. I love it.
So that's going to be game 1, going towards Wings. A big advantage. They played amazing. I love the Earthshaker pick. They used it in an aggressive tri-lane. It benefited them heavily in the mid-game as well. Huge victory for Wings, and that's one of the other teams that they were afraid of. They said EHOME and NP. Well, it doesn't look like they have too many things